Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cooper, do you believe that the Department of Education should be abolished?
Well, I think that the Department of Education was
Just looking for a yes or no answer.
I think whether the programs that are currently operated by the Department of Education...
Do you think the Department of Education should be abolished?
I think it's immaterial whether the programs are operated out of education or the
Do you think the Department of Education should be abolished, sir?
I really can't say because
I'll take that as a no. Ms. Neely, do you think that the Department of Education should be abolished?
We won 2 world wars without having a Department of Education.
So you don't believe it should exist?
I didn't
Mr.
say
Cooper,
that. I said we won 2 world wars
Mr. Cooper,
without
do you
a Department
believe,
of Education.
Madam, it's my time. Mr. Cooper, do you believe that the Department of Education should be abolished? Mr. Taylor.
I have to agree. I don't have a yes or no answer.
You don't have a yes or no answer. No. All right. So
the work of the Department of Education needs to continue. Whether or not the Department of Education as an institution, see, too often I think we get involved in it. I want to be clear.
So
the work needs to
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So whether we abolish it or we reorganize it, do you believe that the president alone, Mr. Cooper, can eliminate the Department of Education or reorganize it, or does he need a vote of Congress to do so? Does he need to work with Congress to do that?
To eliminate it outright would require a vote of Congress, but there's probably some things he can do by executive order.
So he can just stop funding certain congressionally appropriated programs? He could just say, I'm not going to fund those? Tell Elon Musk, just find that account and don't fund it?
It would depend on the program.
Okay. So you would agree that there are programs that are congressionally appropriated that he would need, he just doesn't have the power to impound.
I would argue that if Congress has specifically appropriated funding for a certain program, then the Education Department is obligated to fund that program, but there is some flexibility that the department has.
Oh, all right. So, but essentially, to eliminate the Department of Education, to abolish it, he would need the vote of Congress to do so.
I agree with that.
Ms. Neely?
I'm not a constitutional scholar, and this is outside of my area of expertise.
Oh, so you don't agree that that the Department of Education, which was established in law through a bill passed by Congress, signed into law by the president, that to abolish the Department of Education, that he would also need a vote of Congress to do that?
This is outside of my scope of area of
You don't
expertise.
know. You don't know. But you're an expert. You're an expert on.
I represent a parents' organization.
Okay, thank you.
My role in this hearing.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes, absolutely.
You would absolutely need a vote. Well, I'm glad that that we have at least 2 witnesses, from the majority who believe that a vote of Congress would be necessary, and I would hope that they would remind my colleagues on the other side of the aisle what happened at USAID over the weekend was illegal. That a president cannot unilaterally dismantle an agency or a department that was established in law. That what he did was outside the law and illegal. I mean, this hearing is called the State of American Education, but from what I'm seeing from the other side's behavior is that it really should be called the Republican surrender to a would-be king. I would love to discuss the state of education in America, and I would love to have any semblance of productive discussion in this committee. But the only solution that Republicans have offered us to the pile of problems that sit before us, whether it's the abysmal childhood literacy rates in this country, rampant gun violence in schools, the astronomical cost of higher education, and lifelong shackles of debt that we're signing up our college students for, is to abolish the Department of Education. Well, either way, let's imagine that legally or illegally the Department of Education has been dismantled. The department protects students and veterans who've been defrauded and are victims of predatory loan schemes for predatory for-profit colleges. This is critical for veterans who are disproportionately affected by the student debt crisis. Before COVID, student veterans had a 46% default rate on their loans. Mr. Cooper, if a veteran is defrauded out of their GI Bill benefits by one of the institutions known to prey on veterans, can they recoup that benefit?
For veterans, I'm not sure. For federal student loans, they can submit a claim through the borrower defense process to have their loans discharged.
Well, the answer is no. Once the GI Bill education benefits have been used by the students, they are gone forever. Yet my Republican colleagues continue to propose cutting regulations which protect these student veterans, including a loan relief after attending a failed school, rules that prevent colleges from preying on veteran GI benefits, and tools to discharge debt for students who have been defrauded by their institution. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.